How do you respond when you fail? Like, what do you do when you mess up? At work, let's say you mess up. What do you do at night? Are you able to just be like, okay, I messed up. This is what happened. This is what could have been done better. This is how I can prevent that failure from happening. Now I'm going to go home and be myself. Or are you thinking about it, overthinking about it, going back to your boss, apologizing 5,000 times, not being able to sleep, punishing yourself for the rest of the week? What if you lose your trust with your parents? What do? Are you resentful? Do you push back at them? Do you put it on them to just like give you trust without earning it? Do you get defensive, resentful? What about if you upset somebody, let somebody down? Do you feel like your life is effectively over? I mean, there's a lot of ways that we can respond to failure, but guess what? It's a part of life. If you're breathing, you're gonna fail. Sorry, but it's the reality. Talk about failure. I used to be a part of a tech company, and I was responsible for curating the content in emails. These emails went out to an email list globally of 42 million addresses. 42 million. That's a lot of addresses, y'all. And there was one email. I deviated from existing systems. I made some pivots to the email right before it got shipped. And there was not one, but 2 errors at the top of the fold. Both of the errors were the first 2 curated elements within this email. And on a Saturday, I get a phone call, conference call from my boss and my boss's boss, asking questions about the content within this email. It took me a year to get over it. And do you know what my boss said? I actually got nicked not for making the mistake, but for not letting it go. For some of you, the issue isn't that you are remorseful. It's actually the opposite. You make a mistake and it's a system problem. It's a personnel problem. It's somebody else's problem and it's not yours. You struggle to admit when you're making a mistake. For others of you, you're like me. You cower in devastation when you fail. And the truth is, we're all human. Every single one of us is going to make a mistake. Every single one of us is going to experience levels of blind spots, failures, disappointments, and oversight. And because of that, we have to have a very solid system to practice both vulnerability and humility, but also resilience to say, I'm so sorry, I made that mistake. That's my bad. That's my problem. I did that. That's how I negatively contributed to this. And I'm going to own that. But this is what should have happened. This is the system I'm going to use to prevent that from happening in the future. And I am willing to move on. Because if you can practice the humility of acknowledgement and the resilience to move on, I promise you are more trusted. I promise that you will be more happy and fulfilled in your job and in your life. And I believe that your failures will no longer hold you back.